Maintenance required. I think we all have that sign inside of our heads. Maintenance required. My car is always telling me that because it wants me to change the oil, I think. So, my little brother invited me out to go watch a UFC fight. The UFC fight. And last night, and I went. In case you didn't know, and you probably don't know, I've re-established with drinking and me, it's always been a constantly evolving thing. It's never, it's always been a thing that, it started off being a struggle and a medication and an escape and all this, and it has since evolved a lot from that. And what it has morphed into at this point is and I've tried this in the past and it hasn't worked because I was sort of hooked on it, or hooked on the idea that I was hooked on it somehow, and I'm not really hooked on it anymore. So now it's that drinking socially is okay and drinking by myself is not okay. And that's where it's at. Not saying it's gonna stay there forever, but as far as being pulled to go get alcohol or having it, and it's having something weigh in your mind, that's where it's a problem. If the thing is not weighing in your mind when you're not currently doing it, then that thing is not a problem for you. And now with alcohol, that's where I've come to by this point. It's not weighing in my mind anymore. So I went, and this is my friend that I went to high school with. He was one of the few people in my high school that I actually maintained connection with afterward. Although that didn't happen immediately, I re-established connection with him after he started doing CrossFit and sort of did his own gym thing in his backyard. And then I couldn't keep doing CrossFit because of injuries and my shoulder dislocations, so that I wasn't super connected with him outside of working out. But he's still a good friend. He's always been a good friend as far as just as far as relationships not having issues. He was a good friend, is a good friend. And I knew at the onset of this possibility, like when my brother invited me, I knew that I kind of knew how it was going to go. And it went exactly like I thought it was going to go, where I haven't seen my friend in probably a couple years, probably since I really started this channel, and I've changed completely from what I was when I was hanging out with him. And because of how I am now, it didn't have to be awkward, and it wasn't awkward. Maybe it was slightly awkward for them because it was like, why is Gary just showing up out of the blue? And so maybe that was slightly awkward for them. I don't know, but didn't really feel like it. But the thing about it, which is fascinating to me, is that I didn't have a need to, and I don't have a need to sort of foist my own worldview or my own life path, I guess my belief systems. I don't have the need to do that with people, with anybody. So when I get invited to my friend's house to watch a UFC fight that I haven't seen in 2 or 3 years, then I'm okay with doing that and not discussing sort of heavy topics or something at all. And they were fine with it too, and there wasn't the problem. Like, they didn't ask me anything about myself or where I had been for 2 years or anything whatsoever, and I was fine with that. It was this realm is endlessly fascinating for me. And my friend, his wife is pregnant now, and I think this is why women are more attracted to this channel. I mean, I know men are here too, but women naturally are more intuitive. They're more intuitive, and that's how I am. So maybe women are attracted to this channel because they go by feelings more than logic and reason and masculine bravado and all that stuff. So my friend's wife, I talked with her. She was the only one there that I had like a meaningful conversation with. Otherwise, it's just like taking shots and playing video games and, you know, watching the fight and that. And his wife, you know, I asked, you know, we had a meaningful conversation, and yeah, so that was that. And I know that connection is not likely to continue in sort of an organic way. I know that they're not going to reach out and say anything about me being there last night, and I'm not going to make effort to sort of keep that connection going, simply because our frequency is so different. And as well, aside from all that, this was, I mean, as far as drinking and seeing what it does or doesn't do for me, it just reaffirmed that it's not. The benefits have always dwindled and dwindled and dwindled until I maintain awareness throughout drinking, and I don't get the so-called benefits of like feeling giddy and excited and doing things I wouldn't normally do. And yet I have the negative repercussions the next day, i.e. right now, and have the headache and, you know, the uncomfortable bowels because we ate some shit food, and, you know, and so I'm, you know, getting to deal with that, but without having received the benefits of what drinking normally does, because I'm always there anyway. Like, I don't have any sort of like misgivings, or I don't have these insecurities or something that you know, make you, I don't have inhibitions to lose, so alcohol has nothing to give to me. That's the lesson that's been getting pounded into my head over the years. And I'm not saying I have no insecurities. I do have insecurities, but I don't have a lot of them, and I don't need the alcohol, and I don't need medication anymore because my life is no longer so traumatic that I need medication. So these are the lessons that I'm slowly getting as I move along, and, you know, I'm okay with them. I'm not I just take things as they come. That's really the only way to do it. And also, Suso is Suso is taking a hiatus, so I wanted to say thank you to Suso for everything that you've done. I don't know if you're going to watch this or not, but I did a show with him, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and he's he says the Matrix is pulling him back in, but that's also another fascinating thing that he's going through, is he's saying the Matrix, he's saying back in his earlier day, he had like a choice to make, and that he made the logical, rational, moral choice by most people's standards, like the correct choice. But what he's saying now is that this situation is coming back up again, as if that moral, correct, logical choice that would have been agreed upon by most people watching the situation was actually incorrect, in the sense that, you know, you don't always know if something's good for you, and maybe making the wrong turn or jumping off the cliff or, you know, doing something brash actually is correct in a certain way. That's what he's saying. And he's saying he's going back into the Matrix to work that out, and he's gonna leave off the Mandela effect stuff as far as video output and not post on YouTube so much. So Suso is gonna go do his thing for a little bit and not be on YouTube. What else? That he also mentioned something about the next couple months being sort of trying or tough for people, and this also goes in line with what Levette's saying. The Venus retrograde thing, I think that was the last planet that's going to go retrograde, to account for like 5 or 6 of them currently being retrograde, and which makes all kinds of crazy energy for everybody, chaotic. My sister going through it in a big way right now. The thing is like, you don't ever have to. Yes, stuff happens. There's nothing, you can't stop stuff from happening, but even if you hear someone like Levette say, well, this is going to be like a chaotic, crazy 5 months or whatever, till December, till January, when it starts tapering off, it's even fine. Like, if you have your center, your peace, your stillness, you know, your quantum 0-point consciousness that's just observing, everything is fine. It doesn't matter if the world blows up. Just none of it matters. That being said, the energy now is like, it's topsy-turvy. And yesterday was yesterday. What is today? Today's Sunday. Okay, so I had Jackson on Friday, right? And you guys remember probably the videos I was making about the weather changing from Friday to Saturday, which is yesterday. Something massive happened in the etheric, or in some dimension that we're connected, that I'm connected to. And on Friday, when I was driving Jax up to visit my mom, the energy like peaked in my own body and in the surroundings, like the weather, the everything, and like my feet were sweaty. Back in my day, you know, before I knew how to sort of manage this stuff, I would have had a panic attack. But I didn't have a panic attack because I know it, I understand the thing now. So like, I sat with it and meditated through it, gave Reiki out to the people. I mean, gave energy out to the realm. I was helping in the situation as best as I could. And I also texted Lauda and asked her if she was feeling it, and she said something like, yeah, the nausea's building and it feels like something's about to explode. That's what she told me. And we're actually supposed to have a show today, and she's not feeling well. So the show's probably not going to happen. That's what I'm feeling now, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, that whatever happened on Friday in the etheric, in the spiritual realm, was something huge. I don't know what it was. I just know that it had a good result, because the next day, it was like the most beautiful day ever, and energetically and weather-wise and everything else. And I also posted that video, so you can go look at that one, of like the clouds over the mountains. It was like night and day as far as energetic and manifest into physical 3D. So something huge happened. I don't know what it was. I just know that a battle was won, or a darkness was vanquished, or something. I don't know exactly what it was. I just know that something happened, and now we're here. You know, we're in the resolution to whatever problem was being presented in that situation, and it moves on. You know, it moves forward. It literally is a quantum reality. It's not. That's the first and hardest lesson to learn for everybody, is that it's constant flux. There isn't a ground. If you can learn that, and you can start going into the intuitive side of your being, then you'll be taken care of. You're taken care of even if you're on the ceramic model of the universe like Alan Watts talks about, and you're stuck on belief systems. You're taken care of in that situation too, and you're learning your lesson. But once you get past that, then you find that nothing is anything. There is not a reality. It just isn't. It's all paradoxical, and it's all perfect, and you know, this is, words can't describe it, and all these things. And also, Og. I can't understand Og whatsoever. Slightly, but he wanted to send me. He wanted to send me a radiation screen for my car window, and I was like, why? I was like, from what? And he said, from, you know, the outside and from the sun. And I understood, and I know Og has good intentions. I know I understand him to an extent, but I also know what fear is, and I know that external stuff doesn't have to do anything to you whatsoever. So I had to take a little bit of time to figure out how to respond to that. And I ended up saying, you can send me whatever you like, because I wasn't going to go and say, oh, well, you know, so we're going to get bombed soon or something. I don't care about that. Like, I'm not, I haven't done the fear action thing for a long time, and I'm not going to start now, so my point in bringing this up is not to say anything bad about Og. I love Og and everything that he's doing. My point is saying that we are given invitations all the time to either step into a fear or reactive mode or not. And the way I understand it is, I could have stepped into fear and asked, what exactly is it about? And have him explain, well, such and so is going to happen, or, you know, and I could have stepped into that reality. You know what I'm saying? That's the invitation that we're presented with all the time. So my point here is that let the thing sit. I don't ever. That's really the only lesson that has stuck with me, is to remain motionless. And not motionless as in I'm not moving, because things are obviously always moving. I mean motionless as in you're not giving power to possible negative scenarios that will up and play out if you allow it. It just will, you know? I am powerful, yes, I understand this. You all are powerful. Maybe you do understand it, maybe you don't, but you get little lessons and hints and signs, markers, everything along the way. And yes, in a quantum reality that's constantly shifting and in flux all the time, you're not going to get any book written in plain English that says, here, you do this, this, and this. Yes, there's the Bible, but you have to be in the ceramic model of the universe for that to really stick with you. Or else you're just sitting there and reading it and having it hit you the same way as a tree is going to hit you. Like, you don't know exactly what's going on. Yes, you get something out of it. You get the same thing out of reading like a horror story rendered into book format. That's the way I see it. When people get stuck on certain fixed, so-called fixed aspects of this reality, then, well, they're creating their reality via that thing. And people have problems and issues when I say things like you create your own reality, or I hint at that, or I act like I'm doing that because it's threatening and people don't like being threatened. It's fine. Like, you can have your model of the universe and I can have mine, and in my current reality that's certainly existing, that's in constant flux, and there are no solids or firmament or anything. Paradoxically, even though, because I'm inside of this very structured vehicle and driving down the road, you know, just because I'm in that and I'm fine with that doesn't mean that your biblical thing or whatever can't also be there. Everything is there. Every single thing is there. Every thought form is there. It's all there, and it's all allowed. So that's why I go back to the laughing Buddha thing. I go back to the, you know, because laughter is the only thing that laughter and or silence, like silent laughter, I guess is it's just silent mirth, like just endless laughing. You have to get past the trauma to get to that point, but that's what it is. It's you know, there's nothing. The words are meaningless. It doesn't matter. What are we talking about? I don't know. That's another good way to live your life. Is I don't know. That's no clue. I have no idea. People are even having problems with me, like, talking about the sky and like, taking pictures, and it's amazing. It's just really amazing to me. Like, the sky is telling us things every single day about our reality, and I like looking at it and taking pictures and seeing. And people are like, "Oh, you're so fixated on the sky." Like, what? You know, some sarcastic remark like, "What's the sky to? Is the sky falling?" You know. I had somebody comment that on Facebook. I was like, yeah, I said that the cloud was raining on me. Is that the same thing as the sky? I said the cloud was crying on me. And I asked if that was the same thing as the sky falling. And he didn't say anything because there's nothing to say to that. It always goes back into silence because there's literally nothing to say. You vomit out all of these, like, projection, mind, ego, whatever things, and in the midst of the silence, and then eventually it peters out and you're back to silence. And that's why the silence slash laughing Buddha slash meditation slash present moment slash all yada 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 is what it is, and that's your home. That's why I constantly yammer on about that, because no matter what we do here, like blah 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 blah, it doesn't matter. It's within that. It's held within that. You are held within that in love. I mean, hopefully, if you're not being too hateful on yourself, or you're not adapting too many belief systems that would have you be born in original sin and, you know, all this other garbage. But that's what it is, you know. It goes back to that. That's what I do on the channel, is I speak in silence, and I don't have goals, and I don't give a shit, and I care about the people, and that's very simple. It's not, I don't ever say what I'm doing because I'm not doing anything. I could say that, and that would also be a step beyond the nothingness of it. So that's about all. Yeah, that's about all I have to say for today. Stuff is happening though, as usual, and I'm not gonna do a Suso and take a hiatus right now. I may at some point, who knows. I know I make a lot of videos, but I'm not really in charge of when I stop making videos, so it's kind of a moot point. Anyway, everybody who is in this timeline with me, enjoy it, because some battle was won on Friday and we're in some fresher state. So go do something creative, you know, surprise yourself with your own life, let some boundaries drop, hop out of some boxes, and so on and so forth. All right, be well, people. Bye bye.